That's my bookshelf, that's my TV, and hey, that's my cat, Happy. This image was shot on the Oppo Find X6 Pro, Oppo's latest flagship phone with probably the strongest rear camera setup that I've seen on any smartphone till date. Now in today's video, let's unbox this Find X6 Pro and take a quick look at Oppo's 2023 flagship. Hey guys, Ash here from C4eTech and let's get started. Now before we proceed, a quick request: if you're on Telegram, use the link in the description to join the C4eTech channel so that you can keep track of all my new uploads. This is what happens when you forget to hit record. You get a video that starts abruptly, 10 plus years in, I'm still doing this. Anyways, opening up this standard Oppo box, you have a standard black insert. Now note that this phone is exclusive to China, at least for now. So I've had to import it, and that is going to be obvious in a moment. Here's the SIM ejector tool. And like I said, imported from China, so the included leaflets are all in Chinese, of course. And here's a hardshell case with a faux leather finish. Now moving on, we get to the star of the show, the Oppo Find X6 Pro. They've got it in this recyclable protective wrapper. It's like paper, so pretty difficult to remove without ripping it off totally, but I'm gonna try. There you go, done. So this is the green version. It reminds me a lot of the OnePlus flagships. The back, the texture, it feels familiar too. Barring this, Oppo does offer the Find X6 Pro in black as well as a dual-tone vegan leather brown, which in my humble opinion is the best looking SKU. Oppo seems to know that too, which is why it's not available in the base 12 to 56 RAM storage config. And given unlike most people covering this phone, I did not get my Find X6 Pro from Oppo and had to buy one for myself. So you can see why I chose the green despite thinking the dual-tone vegan leather brown looks better. Now jokes apart, this green with its Gorilla Glass 5 back, it looks nice too. Now while the back is Gorilla Glass 5, the front is the newer Gorilla Glass Victus 2. Also note that the glass versions are slightly slimmer and lighter than the vegan leather SKU. Now coming back, as my Find X6 Pro is booting, let me set it to the side and get back to the box. This pull tab is actually supposed to let me, pull this out. That's not happening. So let me just do it the regular old-fashioned way. So this is pretty typical Oppo. We have a USB cable, USB type A to type C to be precise, with white accents. And let me just put that back. Finally, we get a 100-watt SuperVOOC charger included in the box. While it's not a class-leading 240-watt charger or something crazy, it is still very fast. 0 to 50 in just 10 minutes, a full charge in 30. Given there's a substantial 5000 mAh battery inside, very respectable numbers. Now this is a proper flagship. So Oppo's also provided AirVOOC support. So wireless charging up to 50 watts and reverse wireless charging up to 10. Given how huge this camera array is, initially I thought I might have issues with my regular wireless charger, but no, it charged just fine even though the back's a little elevated due to that camera bump. Now that camera bump is the highlight of this phone. It's huge, it's obnoxious, but for good reason. Before we talk about that, let me quickly walk you around the phone. The side's metal, the power key is to the right, the volume keys are to the left, and they're placed right where it feels comfortable to use. We have the secondary mic, speaker, and an IR blaster up top. To the bottom, we have the SIM tray, primary mic and speaker alongside a USB Type-C port. This is USB 3.1 and can do video out. Nice. The Dolby Atmos stereo speakers here, they sound loud and rich. Here, have a listen. It's pretty close to the S23 Ultra's output. It's almost there. Now in hand, this phone feels hefty. It's definitely on the heavier side of things, but the curved display helps keep the width a little manageable. But the back, being glass, it's of course very slippery. Now guys, if you're someone like me who uses the included case, then the faux leather finish on this one is pretty awesome. I love how Oppo's cases kind of reflect the phone's color. The dual-tone brown and white eco leather version gets a similar dual-tone finish case. And if you are gonna be using the included case, then you get that leather-esque feel even with these glass backs. And that's quite neat. Now the display, it's yet another highlight of this phone. Once again, like I said, proper flagship, so it checks all the right boxes. This is a 6.82-inch AMOLED panel with a 120Hz refresh. It's got LTPO 3.0 to vary that refresh between 1 to 120Hz to save power. It's also a panel that curves at the edges, which brands do to signify how premium a phone is. Consumer opinion on this is pretty divided though. Now this also happens to be the brightest display on a smartphone today, with a peak brightness claim of 2500 nits for when you're viewing HDR content, talking about which there is support for HDR10, 10 Plus and Dolby Vision. So this is a top-notch panel with, of course, a notch, or rather a hole punch to the top. This is where you find the selfie camera 32 megapixel Sony IMX709. This is probably the weakest spec on the Find X6 Pro spec sheet. I mean, initial impressions, it seems to do well enough for selfies, but to me, video being limited to 1080-30 just doesn't seem very flagshipy. The rest of the spec sheet though reads like an enthusiast stream. The flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 with up to 512 gigs of the fastest UFS 4.0 storage, combined with up to 16 gigs of the fastest LPDDR5X RAM. This display, these specs, these speakers, gaming should be good on this phone. I'm yet to run my sustained performance tests. I'll have more to say about gaming and the performance in my full review that should follow soon. Okay, I guess I've made you wait long enough, so let's now talk about the strongest point of this phone, the cameras. Oppo's marketing on this is cringeworthy. The first time I heard 3 primary cameras, I said, yeah right, whatever. But when you look at the spec sheet, they aren't really kidding, are they? Remember this phone, the OnePlus 11? Do you remember what primary sensor it uses? The Sony IMX890. The Find X6 Pro is also using the same sensor, but on its secondary cameras. And yes, I said cameras, both the secondary cameras. It's crazy, the IMX890 is a 1x1.56 inch sensor. This is the sensor size on the secondary cameras used by Samsung on the S23 Ultra and Apple on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Nuts, right? The telephoto setup is this 50 megapixel sensor paired with a 65mm equivalent f2.6 lens with OIS, which gives it roughly 2.8x optical zoom, though in-app it's rounded up to 3x. Now these 3x shots are awesome. This camera makes random mundane shots look great. Like what you're seeing here now are just images I shot to test. Guys, when I'm talking about cameras with a phone, usually I just shoot random crap around the house, things I'm familiar with to understand how things work. And then later on, I shoot more interesting shots to put into the video. Here, I've just been showing you guys the random shots I took sitting in one place in my house, and they are so damn impressive. Oppo trusts this telephoto setup enough to put a 6x option right in the viewfinder, and with good reason. I mean, you can tell that from the shots you're seeing, right? These are 6x hybrid zoom shots and they turned out really well. I'm actually so impressed, I've not even gotten started on the primary yet. Now the primary sensor, that's a 1-inch Sony IMX989 paired with another optically stabilized lens, f1.8 this time around. And the results are very impressive. I'm yet to compare it side by side with other flagship phones, but initial impressions, I love this. The natural bokeh, it is so strong. The colors, the detail, pretty darn good. Oppo's portrait mode also happens to be excellent. The edge detection is very accurate. Just see this image. See how KitKat's white hair strands are kept in focus? I was really impressed. Video too, it seems to be well done. 4K 60 is what it maxes out at, but that's okay. Footage seemed well detailed, pretty stable. Ultra wide is once again, like I said, that same 50 megapixel IMX890 paired with a f2.2 lens here. This has autofocus, so allows for macro shots such as this. With primary sensors, as the size keeps growing, they can't focus very close. So what brands do is they switch to the ultra wide in those cases, and that's what's happening here too. The colors are kept very consistent, and the ultra wide, it's pretty solid overall. Talking about overall, the Find X6 Pro, selfie video notwithstanding, it seems like a very well-rounded flagship, and Oppo's Chinese pricing isn't too unreasonable either. It starts at 5999 RMB, which converts to about 71,000 rupees or 870 US dollars, and for all that they're offering, it seems to be a pretty decent asking price. I mean, just look at the highlights. 3 strong cameras, top-notch internals, 3-year update promise, excellent build quality, a 100-watt charger in the box, 50-watt wireless charging support, IP68 water and dust resistance rating, Quad HD 120Hz with the brightest panel available in the market today, stereo speakers, USB video out, Wi-Fi 7 support, and even an IR blaster. Now, I can't wait to spend more time with this phone and do a full review of it. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about the Find X6 Pro? Do you like it? Do you think Oppo should have done something a little different? If yes, what? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, we are at the end of this quick little unboxing and hands-on. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about the video. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech. And I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.